Wallnau Show. Today's a little different. As you can see, I'm in front of my whiteboard, which isn't really a whiteboard. It's a glass board that I draw on. And I was just doing a class right here, and then I said, get me the AI notes from my flash talks. I do these flash talks with Gene Bailey, and we're on the road with Flashpoint. And I love them because they're an energetic group. And I'm looking at the flash talks I've got here, but the notes are hilarious. I have to read to you what artificial intelligence thinks I'm talking about. It says here, Lance believes he has an unfulfilled prophetic purpose and will be brought before Caesar in Rome. Obviously, I'm talking about an unfulfilled prophetic purpose and how Paul had to be brought before Caesar in Rome. This is what I love the most. Lance talks about the centurion on board the ship along with the pharmaceutical representatives. I can't wait to see exactly what I said that AI thought I'm talking about the pharmaceutical. I think I'm talking about Pharisees, not pharmaceuticals. Anyway, in an age when there's a lot, when AI is like this, you're going to have to go back to ancient principles. The Bible says something in the midst of shaking. The prophet Haggai said, the silver is mine and the gold is mine. That's why I keep telling people, whatever's happening in the United States right now, you need to take a look at lancewallnau.com/gold. Go look at our basic report, our fundamental report, 20 pages on why gold and silver and precious metals is a great, stable store of value, and markets are fluctuating and there's all kinds of disruption. I'm saying that gold has been going up for the last year for a reason, because people don't trust the economy. They don't trust the future. They think America's on the wrong track. But all the banks globally buying up the gold. Why? There's stability there. Go to lancewallnau.com/gold and read the report and understand why it's important for you to be thinking about that same strategy. Now let's get into today's Flashpoint, which I guarantee doesn't have pharmaceuticals on board Paul's ship to Rome. I remember something strange started to happen. When the show began, I'd say, well, Gene, and I would start to talk. Then he started opening up the show sounding like me. And he'd go, well, Lance. I thought, my gosh, it's me talking to me. Then I watched an episode of The Tonight Show, and I realized I was looking at Don Adams from Get Smart. And I realized that maybe it's a Northeast thing, but there's a certain way that we talk. And he said, well, I talk like that. And then I realized the director was talking like that, and then everyone else in the studio was talking like that. So I think there are some things that are just contagious. Faith talk, strength talk, optimism talk, I think that's contagious also. I think it's a positive virus. You want to be able to say something that is going to be edifying, strengthening, and supporting. Now, I'm getting some heat tonight about this optimistic Gentile line. Let me clarify something. I think if you were to look at the record of the Jewish prophets in the Bible, that you'll see that their great conundrum was kind of a reversal. They weren't necessarily the optimist speaking to a group of pessimists. They were the pessimists who were getting drowned out by the optimists. Now think about it. So Jeremiah's prophesying, hey, these things are going to happen, and all the other prophets are mad at him. Because when a king brings you in, they want to hear good news, and you're giving them bad news. You're making us look bad. Let's all get in unity. It takes a lot to be the one person that is the person, you know what I'm talking about. And so, in defense of the optimistic negative prophet, I'd like to point something out to you. I want to show you, there's a verse in the Bible that I think explains everything perfectly. And it's, the Apostle Paul is given a word by Jesus. You must appear for me in Rome. And so that word goes to Paul. You're going to appear for me in Rome. Now he's got a destination. America shall be saved. I believe it. I've been saying it. As a matter of fact, Gene and I are even getting lampooned in movies over that line. So I own it. I'm out there and I've said it. But what I realize is, to the unredeemed, when they hear us say America shall be saved, they're not hearing what we're hearing. They are like, it's like that scene from Nacho Libre where, you know, where he makes the other guy get baptized. They think we're going to force them to get saved. You must get baptized. You haven't seen the movie. You obviously don't have a millennial that made you watch it. We're not forcing conversion on people. We're not saying America shall be saved. You're all going to have to be born again. We're not saying. We're saying it's a drowning man adrift at sea, and God's not going to let him sink. But they don't hear that. So you see, we've got a real interesting situation. We're saying one thing, they're hearing another. So the Apostle Paul gets this wonderful word from Jesus. You're going to go appear for me in Rome. Now, Jesus didn't tell him how he was going to get there. He just gave him an endpoint. If he had showed him how he was going to get there, it would have been an uncomfortable night. So I'm telling you, America shall be saved. We haven't been told the details yet, but we're optimistic about the outcome. I just don't want you to get nauseous when the journey starts. So let's take a look at this. America shall be saved. And I wrote down some inspired. Now, listening to Hank always inspires me, so I have some notes here. While Hank was preaching, I said, oh, I think this sounds good. So I want you to take a look at this. Acts 27. Acts 27. So the Apostle Paul knows that he's going to go to Rome, and then he knows he's going to have an all-expense-paid visit. He's going to be on like a all-expense-paid cruise. And this one will really flip your wig for you word of faith people like me. He sends a letter ahead and says to the Roman church, pray that I have a prosperous journey to Rome. So when we give you that prosperity word, buckle up. So he's got a word in his spirit. It's going to be a prosperous journey. He's got a destination. He's going to make it to Rome. Nothing's going to keep him from getting to Rome. But if anything could keep him from getting to Rome, it will be the stupidity of the people that are in charge of the ship. So, the Apostle Paul, now he said, so here we go here. He gets a word. This is the worst thing in the world, to be a Jewish prophet and see the future and people don't listen to you. We already have a persecution complex. Verse 9 says in chapter 27, now when much time had been spent, sailing was now dangerous because there was a fast. There was timing in this thing. It was already past. And therefore Paul advised them, Paul the apostle prophet, men, I perceive that this voyage will end with disaster. Can I make it any clearer? That if we leave now, it's going to be with much loss, not only of all the cargo that you have here, all the money you've got on board the ship, but the ship itself and even our own lives. You got that? Therefore, my advice is just stay with what you've got right now. Oh, that America had listened to that in the last election. Well, I know you share with me your suspicions about the software. I'll give you some updates tonight or tomorrow on the mischievous data we found out because I'm right on the front lines with the Supreme Court attorneys that are working on that case. And I'll give you the inside scoop on what's happening right now. But still, you can't tell me that half of America isn't like in the loony bin still. I'm sorry. I've got friends and family that are in that boat. And I go, what is it about this that you like so much? You want more of it. What are you, a masochist? Oh, I can't stand Trump. They can't even tell me what they don't like about him. Personality. I could care less. If I'm going in, not that I want to, but listen, here's a little secret. If you're like looking for a good surgeon, you're not looking for the one that's the most likable. I kind of like one with an attitude. I want one of those weird perfectionists that makes everybody nervous. Oh, Charlie, he's a lot of fun in the operating room. He's got them laughing. Well, we lose a few patients, but we're going out laughing. Not my idea of a recommendation. No Jews buying that, doctor. Now listen to this. Verse 11. Nevertheless, the centurion, The guy who is the government representative was more persuaded by the helmsman and owner, the helmsman. In other words, more persuaded by the guys that have the money, more persuaded by the pharmaceutical department of defense, big bucks tech company guys, than by the voice of God on board the ship. Therefore, Paul has got to go sailing into a disaster and have a good attitude. So they take off and a nice soft wind blows. A soft wind always blows when the devil's in it. And off they go with the soft wind, but it wasn't too long before they were caught in the grip of a vicious and violent three-way storm from which there was no escape, and neither sun nor stars appeared for many days. A massive tempest beat upon the ship, and all hope of even surviving was given up. This is what I'm trying to warn you about in my own optimistic way. You gotta be prepared for this. It's possible. You're not that fragile that you need to be constantly saying, "Oh, don't worry about that." So what? This is in the Bible. So anyway, the Apostle Paul, no doubt having overcome his bitterness, resentment, and unforgiveness. The whole time, you know what that Jewish guy was thinking? Why didn't you listen to me? Why didn't you listen to me? And I can prove it. Because the first words out of his mouth, "You see, you should have listened to me." After long abstinence from food, they couldn't keep eating the food down. Paul stood in the midst of them and said, "Men, you should have listened to me." He couldn't help himself, as though they don't already know. They're drowning. They see his face. It's like, They know what he's thinking. "You should have listened to me. You shouldn't have sailed from Crete and incurred this whole disaster." He tells them the same word, disaster. But I'm urging you, this is the great part now. Look what I have. I have a flag in my pocket. You know why? Because I've noticed that Hank is wearing larger and larger flag lapel pins. Look at him, look at that. They're getting every broadcast. It's like a bumper sticker. I can't keep up with it. I even bought a flag shirt. I just haven't worn it yet. All right, I might stab myself with this. Let me put this down. Now I urge you to take heart. I love this. This is when you get optimistic with the Gentiles. After they didn't listen to you and you rub it in. I urge you to take heart. Be encouraged. Here they're flopping around. The wind is. Be encouraged. He's holding on to it. I got good news for you. They're flying around. Now listen to what he says. Take heart. There's going to be no loss of life among you. Only the ship. I told you. Should have listened to me. You would have a ship. But there stood by me this night an angel. He wasn't even afraid to go full tilt Pentecostal. I had an angel visiting me. Woo! They're looking, what? An angel visited him? Who? Where are you? An angel visited me, the God whom I belong to, the God of my sin. And he said to me, "Don't be afraid, Paul. You must be brought before Caesar. And indeed, God has granted you all those that sail with you." You could put it this way. The angel of the Lord was sent to fulfill the prophecy that you've got a divine purpose that is not yet fulfilled in Rome. The big question for you, my friends, isn't the meaning of the eclipse, a nuclear confrontation, the persecution, the digital currency, the tattooing of your forehead with an Elon Musk link, whatever. The issue for you is, do you have an unfulfilled prophetic purpose? Because I can guarantee the reason why Jewish people can be optimistic in the midst of any devastation is as long as you have an unfulfilled purpose, you can die till your mission's accomplished. That's the optimism. Oh, praise God. We're in agreement on that. Hey, they. All right. Do not be, but here's the other part that I love. You must be brought before Caesar. I understand what angels do. Angels, you're like a FedEx package. I'm serious, they got to deliver you to that location on time for the appointment. I'm serious, God has written you into the blueprint of a script where your face is already in the future. You remember our dear friend Kim Clement? He would say, "You're somewhere in the future, and you look much better than you look right now." I remember one night I was with him with a very corpulent pastor who was 400 pounds, and I couldn't believe he said, "You're somewhere in the future, and you look much thinner than you look right now." My gosh. But here's the line I love. "I've been sent to deliver you like a package to Rome. And lo," I love this line, "God, you know how he is, generous God that he is. He's not only going to deliver you, but he's now going to deliver all those who are sailing with you." Now catch the distinction. Up until then, they weren't listening to the neurotic prophet in the basement. Shut him up, he's a lunatic, he's Pentecostal, he's probably a Christian nationalist, a dominionist, a Seven Mountain, get him quiet. But then when he comes up with a word of deliverance, when they don't have an answer, he says, should have listened to me. But then I tell you to vote. How did I tell you to vote? Never mind, it's okay. We won't discuss it. The God whom I serve has sent his angel, and he's shown me what's going to happen next. And from now on, instead of me being stuck with you, you're surviving with me. Do you see the reversal? Do you see the reversal?
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a My Pillow or not, you need to get the brand new My Pillow 2.0. Call or go to mypillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and use promo code Lance to save big on all of Mike's best products. That's promo code Lance. Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world.